sweet friends, my name is Jeannie. Welcome back to my channel. There's my puppy down over there. Today I want to show you part 3 of a tour of my collection. So I have lots and lots of things I collect, and I just love to collect certain things, and I want to show you a few more things. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let you see them. So the first thing I have here is I guess they could be called baby spoons, because they're little tiny spoons that, you know, we used to get fed baby food off of. I mean, I know they have the little rubber coated ones now, but they didn't when we were little. Well, most of us were little. And they're just so pretty. They're just little different ones, and they're all little baby spoons, and I just love them. This one is so cute, but they're all older. Some of them are very old. You can tell by looking at the patina of them. But I have quite a collection, maybe 15 of them there, but they all have little different, kind of hard to show you with one hand, but there's some of them, and here's some of them, and I just have them in an old picture here. So I love these rusty, crusty, stain crazed little pictures. I just love them. I think they're adorable. Sorry. And then the next thing, I have a lot of my, and I've changed things around since y'all saw it last, but I love my tomato spoons, which I've shown y'all before, but I just have them displayed differently. And sorry, there's such a reflection. I have a pink top on here. So the next thing that I really like to collect, I have a thing for spoons. Can you tell? But this is another antique ironstone. That one is not marked. I don't know if the other one is, but these are called bonbon spoons. And I'm going to throw them out here on the table and let you see. They're just smaller than, like this is that's a tomato spoon. This is a bonbon spoon. So they're much, much smaller. And they're like the shape of a bonbon. So you can pick them up. I always think this is funny because I don't remember if you remember the politician. I think she was a congressperson or something that made a comment about nurses sitting around eating bonbons. All I can say is she hadn't seen us at work very much. So because there's hardly any time for a pee break, and we get gotten onto if we don't take a lunch break, but it's some days you just can't. So that one struck a little nerve with me. So because I work very hard for my money, work very hard for my patients. So anyways, these little bonbon spoons are just precious. This is an older spoon, and I'm not sure it's bonbon or like a tea, you know. You just put loose leaf tea on it. I'm not really sure, but I just think it's beautiful. And then this is probably my favorite, and it was pretty stained when I got it, but I wanted to clean it up a little bit because I just love that patina on it. It's such a like a matte color. So some of these, a lot of them are shiny, even the ones that are like tarnished. But I just think they're so pretty. So I have quite a collection of those as well. Here's a little bit better idea of all the pitchers that I have. I love ironstone pitchers and creamers, and I have so many. These are individual creamers, and here I have some of my this is from, I think it's from a child's tea set. It's a little miniature sugar bowl and an even more miniature sugar bowl, and these are a stack of butter pats. I just love those. There's my collection of gravy boats, and these are again like a cookie / butter press, and I just think they're so pretty, like a little mold. And I think I have a couple more, but I can't find them, and I might have broken them. This is a better view of my ironstone up here. This is an old butter churn up here. More ironstone plates. And I love my ice cream bucket. And this is a pie basket right here underneath my flour, but I have I moved my Lily and Rose over here. I showed you my, here's another creamer and my demijohns. I have several old radios that work. Another crock. This is like a moonshine crock. Let's see what else. This is also another butter churn, a daisy butter churn over here. I really like that a lot too. I recently got this off of Marketplace, and it's an old galvanized bucket with a lid. So it's pretty neat. More vintage ironstone plates there. Another big flower frog medal and a couple of vintage register tags. And sorry I have to keep running around to show you, but I don't know if I showed y'all this either. It's an egg rack. It's old too. And I also got this. It's a chamber pot. Got that off of Marketplace as well. This right here, my husband got for me. We saw it at an antique shop like 2 weeks ago, and I fell in love with it, but I didn't tell anyone other than a couple of good friends that my husband, Pat, he lost his job a little over 2 weeks ago. Suddenly he was a manager at a tractor dealership, the service department. He was the manager for many years, and for like almost 15. And one day they just decided to get rid of him and let him go. And we kind of saw it coming because they demoted him and cut his pay way back to minimum wage. And anyways, that lasted about 2 months, and then he just lost his job. So there's another ice cream bucket, and I have quite the collection of what are those called? Rolling pins. Have more of the ironstone pitchers up here. And let me turn this on. I have another ironstone pitcher here. This is a beautiful one. I think this is, I have to feel the crack to see if it's the one I got in St. Augustine, but it's so pretty. I also have a thing for church attendance boards. I just love them. This is a reproduction one that I got off Etsy, but I just love them. This I got. This is an old Victorian mirror, and it didn't have the mirror in it. And when I received it off of Facebook Marketplace, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it, but it didn't have the mirror in it. But it was wrapped in newspaper from like 1912 or something. It was crazy how old it was, and it was all yellowed, and it was so almost like it was very brittle, trying to fall apart, you know, brittle and flaky, the newspaper was. So anyways, I measured this wood, this piece. My husband attached it, and then I put the little white pieces, and I use this for a church attendance board as well, or just a message board or whatever. And that's my handmade one, and I love it. It's so pretty. I have another quilt here. I have a thing for quilts and for doilies. Mostly just anything old, y'all. Y'all know me pretty well. This is a special puppy right here. Putty, say hi. Y'all, this dog right here, she is something else. I think she's a mess. This is Puddin'. Here I have like a dresser scarf. I love any kind of doilies, dresser scarves, whatever. I have more crocks over here. You can see my plants in them in another picture. I got these recently off of Facebook Marketplace. They're escargot pots. So you put your escargot in here and throw it in the oven and it bakes. This is an old tart dish too, and that's I guess I might have ruined it because I made a little stand out of it, but I just love it. I think it's so pretty. This was an old part of an old lamp and I glued it to the bottom. I think it's so pretty. Another crock there and another couple of crocks here. Here, and I know it's a little harder to see, this is such a dark area, but I have a little collection of Dundee marmalade jars and cream jars, the little pots, you know what I'm talking about, marmalade pots. Dundee marmalade. Aren't they cool? Here's another cream one. And I love these little hen on a nest. This is one I got from Antique Candle Co. and it actually has a candle in it. It's pumpkin spice. I already have out already, but it's just because it's a pretty candle. There's another ironstone pitcher up there, and I have a little collection. I probably have 4 of them of the galvanized watering cans there. Have another beautiful quilt that I just love. This is one of my favorites right here. This is not an old bench, but it's a pretty bench anyways. It's just the one from Kirkland's from years ago. And then down here I have a couple more crocks. I also really like these oil lamps here. And they were clean and didn't have oil in them, but I took and put antique buttons in the bottom of them, white antique buttons. And these are 2 wooden lantern holders that I just painted over, and I like to have them displayed here. Going with the collection of my antique, hush, Roscoe, shh. Going with my collection of antique, hold on. Sorry, my little boy's very vocal. I have 2 more antique ice cream buckets here. One is a very pale green and one is a medium green. Also have 2 more ironstone pitchers here and a small, bless you baby, a small collection of vintage cameras here. And here, sorry, my puppy acts like she's got a cold. This is a collection of the vintage shoe molds. And this is my tiniest, not my tiniest one. I have another one that's a little bit smaller, but this, I have up to a size 13. I don't know why it's not focusing. And then some smaller ones. Another piece of vintage furniture I have. Are you okay, baby? Bless you. I think my dog has a cold, y'all. Really? Anyways, this is cute little vintage table here. Here's a couple more of my vintage scales. 1 and 2, and a couple more little Crocs marmalade jars. Lots more ironstone I just love. Here's a stack of ironstone platters and little mail postal scales there, old ones, and more platters there and plates. Another vintage quilt here. Also, and I only have done very well and only gotten myself 1 of these, but I love vintage typewriters. And that one is so pretty. I love the little brass items too. I have a vintage student lamp there that's brass that I got from the Goodwill and redid. This is a vintage peddler's rack here. And it's old, old, old. And I got it probably 20 years ago at an antique store. Is this called a crewel painting? Something like that? A crewel embroidery. So that's a vintage piece there. The frame is vintage, and the pretty embroidery on it is too. Another piece of vintage furniture here. I just love it. And another vintage scale. Probably not my oldest one I own, but it is vintage. I have a few more of my collection of ironstone pictures there. And I have a very big thing for, there's another ironstone picture. Those vintage baskets. These are vintage French baskets here. Here's another little, like, what do you call it? Like a perpetual calendar. And I like to put my little Scrabble tiles on it. This is just a few things that I like collecting. It says collection. It would say collections, but I think the S dropped off. Here's probably the S right here. Nope, it says O. I don't know. Collection. Flower frogs, ironstone, pitchers, pie funnels, crocks, butter pats, and quilts. Here is my collection of quilts, which I shouldn't have opened this one first. I shouldn't have taken this off. This is a very, very old piece of furniture that my parents gave me. They called it a pie safe, but it doesn't have openings for like airing them out. So, but I have several of the cigar molds. One's laying on its side back here, and then this one. I have several. And I love those little tiny books here. Any kind of little tiny books, I just love them. I think they're so sweet. This is a little wooden rose that's vintage that one of my patients that recently passed gave me years ago. The same one that gave me my little set of sunflowers there. Not all of these are vintage, but most of them are. The quilts here. And I just love them. I got to pick a better way to stack them because they kind of look messy. These top ones look messy. No, they kind of all look messy. This is probably one of my favorites right here. It's polyester, but my husband's grandmother lived to be 103, and she made that for us right after we were married, and I just treasure it. She's been gone for, gosh, 15 years now, but she was just a treasure. I just love her. This is another one of my favorites. It's just a one I think my mom gave me for Christmas, but it didn't have a backing on it. It's not that one. It's a different one. If I see it, I'll show it to you, but I don't think it's out here. It's like a bow tie one. So I think it's this one right here. It is. It is. I just have it flipped upside down for some reason. But it's like a bow tie. Isn't that pretty? It's got different colors. But my mom gave me the quilt top. And I had one of my friends, and she's not gone, but she doesn't live near me anymore. And so I can't have her do anymore, but she put a muslin backing on it for me. So I just love those. I love the little brass pieces here. I have two vintage spittoons here, and here's another a couple of ironstone pitchers and another vintage radio. This is a vintage hay rake here, and this is more of the vintage books and the mashers there. Some wooden things. I love these. Here's two more of these little hen on a nest. I just think they're precious. And most of these things I have thrifted. I don't recall if I've ever told y'all about this one, but my daughter was born August 14th, 1998. Well, one of my husband's customers gave him this clock, and he looked on the back of it, and it said August 14th, 1898. So it's exactly 100 years older than my daughter. So I think it's so cool. These were my son's boots when he was a little boy. I have some brass candlesticks here. There's my little tea set, and I have a vintage fan back there, my little tea set that my patient got for me. Miss Cindy, I've talked about her before. She's now gone, but she was a sweetheart. This is one of those sifter things. There's another one of those little scales, more vintage books. And I also have, this is a vintage sewing basket right here that I just have flowers coming out of. I have two of these pretty laundry baskets here. Up here I have a couple more crocks and some old baskets. This one is very, very old here. And then I have another sifter in there. This is an old ammunition cartridge right there, that green thing with the hydrangeas coming out. Another vintage scales, very old, it's so pretty. And another vintage freezer bucket, like ice cream bucket. Another sweet crock, another basket. And this is another old piece of furniture. It's like a sort of like an armoire dresser. It has shelves in it, but these are just drawers. All right, on this side, I kind of kept it even. I have a couple of those seltzer bottles, old seltzer bottles. I have two of these, but I had quite a few of them, and I broke several of them. So, and they're so much higher than when I first bought them like 15 years ago. There's another vintage radio, and they all work. I love the little vintage silver pieces here, the salt and pepper shaker. This is a vintage Avon piece. Another crock. There's a Spanish Bible here. I have several languages. Another vintage scale, and this is a vintage stirrup. It's just wooden. Some baby shoes, an old dictionary, more vintage books there. I love the little salt and pepper shakers and a little vintage ironstone. More vintage books. Another vintage quilt top there. There's another vintage shoe mold, and I love these accordion racks, y'all. I think they're so pretty. I have another vintage camera here, and another vintage camera here. I love these little bean crocks. I think they're so pretty. I have an old vintage window there, and I'm not sure if I showed y'all this. I did show you the ironstone, but look, I have a thing for gravy boats down here, and another here, and the little cream and sugars. I think they're precious, y'all. I think they're so sweet. My puppy dogs are very, very noisy. And here's my little vintage, more vintage books. And I don't know if I shared this with y'all, but this is my little male mannequin, and I love him. But I asked one of my friends at work, and he's just a good old boy. He's in his 60s, and he's just a country boy. So I asked him, he built his house off of his parents' land, which used to be his parents' land, and he got it after they passed, so he built a house on it. Well, so he grew up in this with this barn and everything, and I asked him one day, I said, do you have one of those old like lumber aprons, nail aprons? And he said, as a matter of fact, he said, I was just cleaning out the barn a couple days ago, and I do. So he said, you don't want to wash it. He said, I bet it's 70 years old. So I sprayed thieves on it, and then let it sit for about 15 minutes, and I sprayed it down with water and hung it inside to dry. I was afraid to hang it outside. I thought the sun would just fry it. So I love how it turned out. It's much cleaner than it was, but it's old, and I think it's so cool. I'd love to find one that says Harris Lumber and Supply or something, or Harris Hardware or something like that. I have a small collection of little canes here as well. My little puppies are so noisy tonight. And this one is needy. She thinks she needs all the attention. So let me go show you the rest of it if I can get in there with my husband. He's watching TV now. So here's another crock down here. I just love those old crocks. And I do have quite a collection of Bibles here. I don't know if you can see them very well. But here, and there's more ironstone right there. I don't know why I have it sitting like that. I love the big family Bibles as well. I think they're so pretty. And more Bibles over here. I love the black ones and I love the white ones. So I just think they're so pretty. Let me go show you the rest of the stuff. I also have we have several of the vintage tractors, the little pedal tractors. We have the red one with a oh, my dogs are special, y'all. With the little red wagon trailer, and we have a blue one with a little blue trailer, and we have a green one. So there's another crock that I have my olive tree in. Okay, here's my collection of a small collection of white Bibles right here. I just love them, and I'm sorry it's dark in here. It's always dark in this room. It's our bedroom. Here's my original church attendance board that I just love. My husband bought it for me for Christmas a few years ago. I have another vintage picture here, and this is a vintage cheese dome right here, and I just love those. Have more whiter cream books here. I love these little vintage New Testament Psalms and Proverbs, and another collection of small black Bibles here. More vintage furniture. Another crock here. So pretty. I have a thing for the little vintage or antique lanterns. I think they're just so pretty. Up here, I have a vintage, like maybe a mustard jar or something. Some copper pieces in there. Another lantern. Here's a vintage, what do you call it, lamp there as well. Here I have a vintage church pew, and this is my favorite vintage quilt. It was my mother's, and here's a little pillow that matches nicely. It's not really supposed to match, but it does. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's a vintage artillery basket from France. So pretty. I just love it. It's very, very old, and it's still got the price in it where we spent $125 for it when we first bought it like 20 years ago. A vintage floral picture. Isn't that beautiful, y'all? I have a small collection of green books here. I just love those. I have a thing for architectural salvage. And let me turn on this other light now. Have another green ice cream bucket here, and some more vintage baskets to the left. And here I have lots and lots of vintage treasures in here. Little vintage crocks. These were my wedding flowers. Vintage bridal Bibles. I love bridal Bibles. Lots of crocks. Little saltpeter medication crock. Some beer bottles, ginger beer bottles. Some vintage just clear amber beer bottles. I have one on each side there. More of the cheese boxes down here, wooden cheese boxes. More ironstone. Oh my gosh, my puppy dog's driving me crazy, y'all. Back here I have an Anheuser-Busch wooden crate. More pieces of pottery, you know, the beer bottles and crocks and stuff. More of the ironstone pitchers, more vintage bowls and ironstone plates. Another part of my collection of white Bibles. Especially, I love these kind right here, these little tiny ones. Oh my gosh, they just make me happy. And I have several, I have a thing for baby shoes too. So that's, I have a copper one, or bronze, I guess you'd call it. And these were my daughter's flowers that she carried at our wedding. And more vintage ironstone. This one's such a crazed piece right here, stained and crazed. It's so pretty. And then I have more baby shoes. So this is another piece of vintage furniture, and I don't have it pushed in all the way, but my husband needs to fix the drawers because they need reinforcement on the bottom. But this is a vintage piece that I got at a thrift store for $50 maybe, and redid it, changed out the, painted it, and distressed it, and put new knobs on it. So I love that. Also have a thing for the dough bowls. I just love those. Okay, a couple other things. This is more of my collection of creamers. This is in the primary bath. I have a beautiful ironstone teapot and another ironstone pitcher. This is a silver piece that I just adore here, like a pedestal tray, and a collection of ironstone creamers and sugars here. And I have a few, oh my gosh, my dog's driving me crazy, y'all. He obviously wants to come in and Daddy's ignoring him. This is a baby cup. It's got the alphabet on it and the little rattles. I love these, they're so cool. So that's one thing. And then I also, this is, y'all showed interest in my husband's pipe collection. So this is his pipe and tobacco tin collection. That's not the part that's not in the other room. Here's a little snuff tin. I got him this pipe cabinet off of Marketplace and redid it for his birthday. Here's more tobacco, that's snuff ones as well. A couple of pipe tobacco things there. He's got corncob pipes, burlwood pipes, another corncob pipe. This one is really, really cool right here. It has a lid that you can take off. There's so many cool things, more corncob pipes. This one's unique. I think this is the one we got. It was made in Cuba. Yeah, it says Cuba on one side. We got this at the Goodwill. Is it this one? Yes, because it has Cuba. Yeah, it has Cuba engraved in it right there. We got that at the Goodwill for like $6 or something. We were in another town, but it was so cool. But he's just got quite a collection of very unique. This one's so pretty right here in the middle. He's just got a cool collection. This is vintage lighters. All these are vintage lighters, and he has actually gotten them working as well. These are just pieces of pipe here. But he has found all these at antique shops. Not this gold one. I got that off of Etsy for him, but it is an antique one. But these are all vintage lighters that he got working. There's another one right there. This is pipe tobacco and another tobacco tin there. So it's pretty cool. He really enjoys having it, and it's kind of cool that you can anytime just, get him a pipe or something. So it's kind of cool that it's a neat thing to work that way. Oh, let me show you here also, and I don't have the lights on y'all, but this is there we go. This is a piece, I think it was a headboard, and it was on somebody's burn pile at an estate sale. And I asked after I bought several pieces of furniture, I said, is that thing for sale over there? They're like, that's the burn pile, sweetie. You can have anything you want off of there. So I picked it up at the burn pile, and it was a dark, dark brown. My husband's like mortified, like, I can't believe you're picking crap up off the burn pile, but that's just me. So I got it, painted it, and you know, aged a little bit, and I had this vision. So my husband took these 4 corbels here and made shelves, and I have plants on there. I had 2 more up there, but I just took them down to get some different kind of sun, but we have a nice window here. Another vintage stool here. And anyways, I just love having our little plants there. Also have a thing for these vintage rocking horses, the gold ones. There's another one, brass ones. So they're very cool. But that's my pitiful plants in here. I don't do as much with them as I'd like, but I do love them. So, and this piece up here I got off a marketplace for $15, and it's a vintage, what they call a sofa mirror, but my husband hung it in here, and I think it's just beautiful. It's so pretty, gives it more character in here. All right, before I get too far away, I do have the lid for this. It's right here, but it's a vintage sugar bowl. I have some vintage, what do you call those things? Soap dishes there. A little cream and sugar set right there. I just love these things. I have a small collection of vintage mirrors up there, and one of those French metal baskets I can't get it, right there, right here. Some vintage apothecary jars there, and some bale, what do you call those things? Ball jars. And then I have a little vintage duck here that I keep my little washcloths in case there's not one in the what do you call it, in the shower. I'll get a fresh one. And another vintage mirror there, and it's so pretty. It's very, very heavy, so it's so pretty. This is more ironstone here. I have a cloche with some soaps on it. This is another vintage mirror, hand mirror, and I love this little thing. It's a I can't remember the time. I gave Aunt Penny one, but I can't remember what it's called right this second. I can't remember. And I also love having a collection of vintage birds. This is a vintage book that I got this out of, but it's birds, and they're so pretty. So, oh, and this is a candle holder, and it was a dark brown. I thrifted this, and it looks so pretty when I have this lit. Come on, it's very hard to do this with one hand, but it's nice sometimes when I'm in the bathtub and I can just enjoy that. So I also have, sorry for the noise, I have a collection of pig cutting boards here. My husband and I made this little plate rack, so it's just in my hallway between the rooms. So all right, I have a vintage shelf in here in my spare room, guest room, and I have a little vintage ironstone sign. I have a collection of escargot pots, snail pots right there in a little vintage, I think I have another video that I want to show you that I did this, I just did this, put this display together, but I have several Dundee jars and several Big Ben clocks. The infant nutrition thing up there, some ironstone, butter pats, cream and sugar sets, 2 of them. This is one of my favorite pieces right here. It's an ironstone hat pin holder. This is another vintage egg basket with a mini insulators in it. So it's fun. I like to display those things there. And up here, I also have another display of ironstone plates, platters, with a vintage picture of a girl with herding her sheep there. And it's so pretty. I love that little wall too. Over here, and I know the lighting is yucky in here, but I have a another vintage shelf with some vintage tins on top. These are my, like, what is that called there? Those are transferware. Some are egg holders, some are little vintage mini pitchers. One's a little tureen. There's a coffee pot and another pitcher. Some vintage ironstone in here. So I just love that stuff. There's an old, let me see if I can get around here. Sorry. There's a vintage vintage picture right here. I'm sorry, there's a glare, but I thrifted that for like $1.99. I think it's a I'm not really sure. I think it's a battlefield. No, it's a landscape there. But I also have this is a vintage church pew, the back of a church pew it holds your Bibles and your hymnals. And I have quite the collection of Bibles and hymnals here. Sorry, I'm moving around the thing. This was my father-in-law's Bible here, y'all. I still have my red, white, and boom up. That was my father-in-law's Bible, and he is 80, like 85. That was his Bible when he was a kid. I have a little songbook here and some praise and worship music and another Bible there. And I just love this stuff, y'all. Just love it. If you want to see up close, there's some of the ironstone. I love that coffee pot right there. So that is everything, y'all. I know I have more collections, but that's all I can recall showing you right now. I also have several more quilts, lots more Bibles, even the big ones. So I just love that stuff, but I'll show you more as I get to them. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope y'all enjoy me sharing my collections with you. And I will talk to you soon. Happy thrifting, happy antiquing.